Hey folks, Country Prepper here. So, in my video last night I had made mention to feather sticks, and I had a comment from, I believe it was Brian right off the top of my head, that didn't know what a feather stick was. And so, a lot of times we YouTubers use terminology that not everybody understands because everybody's at a different skill level or learning level. Maybe they're just getting started and they haven't watched a whole lot of different survival skills and things like that. So I thought I would go ahead and show how you make a feather stick, why you use a feather stick, what it's good for, and things along that line. What a feather stick is just a way to make tinder when you have completely run out of options. And a lot of people like to just practice this in case they ever get in a situation where, you know, maybe you were canoeing down a river or something and tipped over your boat, lost your pack, and all you got is the knife that's on your belt. And that is a way that you can still get a fire going, get yourself warmed up, keep your core temperature up, and be able to survive the situation. Now, in that video yesterday, I had made mention that I was using pine to teach my stepson how to make feather sticks, and the reason for that is it's a very soft wood and it's very easy to carve. You don't want to make things any more difficult when you're first starting out, when you're learning these things, because if you fail over and over again using the wrong wood, then it's going to discourage you, make you want to just give up on it. So I use pine to teach him, and if I'm just practicing my skills, a lot of times I'll use pine, and it also catches fire easier. The softer woods like that will tend to catch a spark easier, especially pine because it has that resin in it. And that is the whole purpose of why people love fatwood so much, because the resin in fatwood catches flame really easy and it burns hot. If you're coming across this video just out of the blue and you don't know what fatwood is, it is the part of a pine tree that has a lot of resin in it. So here is what the inside of a piece of pine looks like. It's just white. That's what fatwood looks like. So to give you a comparison, that's all that resin in there, and the more orange it is, the darker it is, the more resinous it is, the easier it takes a flame. Even though I suggest using a softer wood like pine to practice with or to get started with, I'm also going to show how you can do it with a harder wood. This is black walnut. So let's go ahead and go over to the stump top and I'll kind of show you how it works. Just for the sake of the knife nuts today, I am using the Mora Cans Bowl. So here's what just a little piece of pine starts off as, just a little stick, and what you want to do is you want to split it. That's one of the main purposes of batoning, is to split down kindling. But that piece is split in half. I like to quarter them so that I get pieces like this that are triangular shaped. The reason I prefer a triangular shape like this is because what you're going to be doing is slicing these corners, the sharp edges, and the more sharp edges you have, the more feathers that you can make. There are a few different techniques that you can use to get a nice fine curl. Some people prefer to just do a push cut, which is just pushing straight down like this. That works out okay, but I actually prefer to kind of slice into it like that. And as you flatten that spot out, you're going to want to turn the stick just a little bit so that you have that sharp edge again. Now you can also do it as a pull stroke instead of a push stroke. And you want to get those just as small and thin as you possibly can, because the more surface area that you create, the easier it will take a spark from a ferro rod. So that kind of gives you an idea of what they look like. Now we'll get into the mechanics of it just a little bit. one of the first things you want to learn is the edge geometry of your knife. So when you put this down, and I recommend you put it down on a solid surface, and then just put your knife flat against the edge. Flat up against the stick. And then just tip it a little bit and push down on it, and then when it just first starts to grab, that's how you're going to get those really fine, really thin curls. And don't worry if they fall off the stick. It doesn't matter. Those will light on fire too. You don't have to do big fancy stuff like trying to get a feather out of the whole stick. It really isn't necessary. You can make small curls that are a couple inches long and do just fine. There's nothing fancy about this. You absolutely do not have to try to look like a professional, or like some of the YouTubers we see will do 10, 12-inch curls. It looks neat, but it doesn't do any more than these will. So now that you've seen how you can get a nice fine feather out of soft wood like pine, here's how a harder wood reacts to the same process. Pretty much the same. But it's going to depend on the type of wood, what kind of grain it has to it. Since this is black walnut, it has a fairly straight grain to it. And so you can get some pretty nice fine curls out of it too. The thing you have to remember about these little fine shavings like this is they're going to burn up fast. So sometimes, after you've got a bunch of small ones, you can tip the pitch of your knife in just a little bit more and get some thicker ones. Get some little heavier ones that are going to burn a little longer and a little hotter. Something like that. Now, if you should happen to have an injured hand, you can stab your knife down into a log of some kind and just pull the piece of wood through. A lot of times when you end up in a survival situation, a lot of times it's because of an injury. So this is a good thing to practice. You actually might want to pound your knife into the log just a little bit so it's a little sturdier. But as you can see, it works pretty good. The final thing I'm going to show you is the importance of a good sharp spine on a knife. A good 90-degree, very, very sharp spine. Is if you have bark of any kind, or especially fat wood. Here, let me grab a piece of fat wood here real quick. You can take this, take the spine of your knife, put your thumb right there, have a reverse grip, put your thumb there, and scrape it. And that little fuzz is called Maya dust. So now you take your Maya dust and all your little shavings, and you just blast the shit out of it with a ferro rod. And you get a fire. Now, as for why they call it a feather stick, I'm not really sure. Maybe somebody thought it looked like a bird with its feathers all ruffled up or something. I don't know. So that's about it for today, guys. If you ever have any questions or any requests for something that you'd like to see, feel free to leave me a comment, and and tell me. You know, I'm always that's what I'm here for, to share what knowledge that I have, and also learn from you guys. So I've actually, over the last couple of years, I've probably learned more from you guys than you have from me. If this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, anybody that this could benefit. Make sure you check out all the links in the description box below. Those are all my social media and other shopping links and stuff to help support the channel. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.